Al, it's good to see you.
Thanks, Larry, for having me on.
What do you think of your popularity? I mean, people stop you in the...
Well, 26 years, in the area, and I've done a lot of not only forecasting weather, but a lot of charity events and fundraisers and schools and tours and keeping your face in the community. I think that's why I think it's not just going to work every day and being in front of the camera. I think it involves more than that, going above and beyond just forecasting the weather. I think being in the community for 26 years, people got to remember my face, and they still remember.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What do people ask you usually? What's the biggest questions that
usually
they
what
ask
the
you?
weather's going to be, I'll say good evening. Usually
right? Oh, that's great. Let's go back to the when you were at WNDS TV50. You started there on the first day at NDS.
Actually, I started August 1st of '83. I applied in July, Larry, went to Linden State College in Lindenville, Vermont, did some TV, graduated in May of '83, and then heard of a new station opening in Derry, so I came for an interview in July of '83, and then I worked 9 to 5. I commuted from Natick August 1st. I got the meteorology department started, and then they said when they went on the air Labor Day of '83, I got a place in Derry. They wanted me to live up here and not commute. I commuted for the first month until we went on the air.
When you were at Linden State College, could you talk a little bit about the college?
College is great for television. A lot of famous Jim Cantori on the Weather Channel graduated a couple of years after me. He's very successful down there, and he's a graduate of Linden State College. So there's a lot of, people that have left Linden, they're in some they're still in TV today, like Jim and Tim Kelly at New England Cable News went to Linden State. So we're all Linden State graduates. It's one of the top schools in the eastern, at least in the eastern part of the country for television, broadcasting. Whether a student goes into communications or broadcast meteorology, it's a great school.
You've often said that you've talked to students, and what's some of the advice that you give students?
Mathematics. Anyone interested in meteorology, because there are 4 areas, Larry, of meteorology: research, private industry, National Weather Service, and broadcasting. If you go into research, I have a Bachelor of Science degree, a 4-year degree in meteorology, but student that goes into research, you do need a 2-year master's degree. That's where all the math comes in. So if anyone's watching us, they're in elementary or middle school, work on your math, because you're going to have calculus and physics, calculus in your meteorology classes. And if you have trouble with basic math and algebra and trigonometry, you're going to fall by the wayside with calculus.
Could you give us an idea of what it's like to do a TV broadcast of the weather?
Well, you look at all the weather computer models. We have so many models, Larry. You look at that. You read the discussions from the Weather Service. We have a Weather Service in Gray, Maine, and Taunton, Massachusetts, that forecasts New Hampshire, the different counties. We have Weather Service in Taunton does Cheshire and Hillsborough. Gray does Rockingham, Merrimack, and all the counties up in the central and northern part of the Granite State. So we look at all that, we read the discussions, and that they kind of discuss with the computer models and how they feel, because each model can vary on the storm's track intensity and speed. So that's the challenge. Which model do you go with? So
physically, you got the mountains, you got the ocean and stuff like that. I would imagine that complicates things.
It does. And if you're a meteorologist out in, say, Nebraska or Colorado, if you forecast the snow in feet, you don't have a range snow line, because there's a coastal front that's usually with a storm that comes up off the East Coast and the Gulf Coast. When a storm forms, because of the ocean is a little bit warmer than the land, it doesn't cool as quick in the fall and winter. So you have that temperature differential, and the coastal front can shift with the track of the low. It makes it very difficult. If we didn't have an ocean, like Colorado, they get they can forecast 1 to 2, 2 to 3 feet.
Much easier to figure.
Yeah, it's just mostly you don't have that marine or range snow line, which New England makes it tough.
Now, you sort of went through it, but could you give us the elements of weather forecasting in that you've got like the jet stream you're talking about?
Yeah, the jet stream is the main thing, and then you look at the different computer models, because each...
How is the jet stream
Well,
affected?
the jet stream, when we get a storm in the Gulf, you usually have a disturbance, kind of picture the letter U. The jet stream, when it makes that configuration, it's an upper-level disturbance or a trough. And usually we look at phasing. Usually in the wintertime, you'll have a northern jet and a subpolar jet, which is the northern subtropical. When the two U-shapes kind of link up in phase, a storm in the Gulf Coast would come up close to just south of Nantucket. And what the Weather Service uses is what we call a 40 north latitude, 70 west benchmark. If the storm goes 100, 150 miles south of the benchmark, it's pretty well a miss for this area. You know, the Cape and Islands, we got to watch. They could be on the northern fringe. But the benchmark is what the Weather Service, you know, anything south of that, we don't get as much snow, northern Massachusetts, southern Hampshire. If it goes over or just between the benchmark and the Cape, that's when we get our big snows. And they may go to rain down on the Cape. So it depends, you know, because basically your heavy snows close to 100, 150 miles north of the track of the low. But as you get closer to the low, it's like a donut has a hole in the middle. And as you get in the center of the low, that's where the warmer air is, not only aloft, but at near the surface. So that's where you have to change to rain.
And how is a storm created?
Basically hot. We have an imbalance in the atmospheres. You know, near Aruba, it's summer all year, and that sun heats the earth unevenly, and that causes an imbalance. The atmosphere always wants to be balanced. And when you have that imbalance, it causes high pressure and low. And basically, low pressure is caused by that jet stream making the U shape when you get cold air mixing with warm air.
What are you doing nowadays?
Well, I'm still doing some radio for 980 WCAP in Lowell. I'm trying to get some more radio stations. Hopefully, we can get some more in Massachusetts. 980, I'm on Monday through Friday and Saturdays as well. Sundays if there's a snowstorm coming.
So you still have a wide area of
yeah, and
viewership,
I'm doing some weather. I've been doing earlier this year, and they gave me the chance to do some weather on Manchester Community Access Media, which was sending out and just keeping my
talk
face.
a little bit more about that.
MCAM, I go up there, and actually the station manager, he's great. He has all the maps basically ready, and he does all the graphic preparation. And I just look at the sequence and go out in front of the green wall. And then we send them out to Salem and Merrimack, we're trying to get it on. It's not on every town in New Hampshire, but we have it on, I think, Keene, even Bristol, Amherst, Bedford, New Hampshire.